The last time we played the Swifts here at Trust Stadium, I think we got a little bit ripped off. It was a really tight encounter. It was a fantastic game for TV and for the spectators. It wasn't too good for us on court. I remember we lost by 1.
Well, we've all been here.
It is always important to come across the Tasman and win, particularly against a New Zealand side, and Mystics no different. I mean, the last time we were there, won that great game in the dying seconds of the game, and they think they were robbed, but Temapara, you know you weren't.
That was magnificent.
That was. We love extra time games.
There's a bit of a point to make. We want to, go out there at our home stadium and not win by 1, but by about 5 will be good.
Trust Stadium in Auckland's west, where the home side, the Northern Mystics, take on the undefeated New South Wales Swifts. For the past month, it's been domestic competition at its finest, but today the action hots up with a return to Trans-Tasman rivalry. Welcome everyone to round 11 of the ANZ Championship. It's first versus sixth, and a whole lot riding on the result, particularly for the Mystics. And a big welcome to a very pregnant Bernice Meni. Hopefully you'll spare us a live birth here this afternoon, Bernie.
Well, there'll be no action of that sort, but I'm sure it'll be an exciting game to match it.
Well, I'll do my best as well. But let's talk about the Mystics. It's do or die this afternoon for them in terms of finals chances, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, they had a bye last week. They had a 1-goal win the week before that, but they need to win every game to really push for that 4th position.
Well, there are a whole lot more games coming up in round 11, and there are a couple of critical ones when it comes to finals chances. The first one is tomorrow afternoon, the Steel versus the Vixens. The loser of that game can virtually kiss their finals chances goodbye. And again on Monday night, a massive game, the Magic versus the Firebirds. The Firebirds must win if they want to remain in the finals hunt as well. And let's have a look at the congestion on this points table. 7 teams still in the running for a finals berth. The Swifts sitting pretty in top position. But if you want to look at 4th position, there's a great deal of congestion there, including the Mystics. And the road to the finals, Bernie, it's not easy for either of these sides.
No, for both of these sides, they haven't got any clear-cut wins ahead of them in those final 3 games. So some good TV watching, though.
Well, our commentator, Jenny Woods, is standing by because she's been doing some research for us. What have you got, Jenny?
That's right, Kath. I've been looking into where the Swifts got their name from. It's not because they're fast and zippy around the court, although of course we know they are. They're named after a bird. Now, one form of Swift is flightless, the other is hardly ever on the ground, and I think that's how this New South Wales side will be feeling. They were in Perth just 4 days ago, a quick stop at home. Here they are in Auckland. They've brought some supporters with them, but they're up against a desperate Mystics side. They need the win, but of course we all know the Mystics themselves can be a bit flighty.
A little bit flighty, the Mystics. Yes, they'll need to bring their A game this afternoon, Bernie, but different preparations for both teams. The Mystics coming off a bye. The Swifts are over in Perth on Monday night, so it's a tough road for them this afternoon.
So it is a tough road for them. The travel in between and quite a good distance. And the Mystics, they could be well rested, but they may be lacking a bit of court time.
Well, now it's time for us to take a break, but before we do, let's find out what happened the last time these two teams met here at Trust Stadium in 2008 in the Fisher and Paykel flashback.
You by Fisher and Paykel.
The New South Wales Swifts and the Northern Mystics.
This crucial match in the ANZ Championship. Certainly no shortage of commitment from either side. So the throw in now, the New South Wales Swifts.
Oh, it's a brain.
Isn't she brilliant?
And now the Northern Mystics to win the match.
Seconds remaining. Can the Swifts get it into Catherine Cox?
It's a penalty.
It's a penalty. So Catherine Cox has the chance to equalise. Extra time will decide this match. It's going to be a win for the New South Wales Swifts over the Northern Mystics. But we have experienced a spectacular netball match here at Trust Stadium, Waitakere.
We're back live at Trust Stadium, where the Northern Mystics will be desperate to keep their finals hopes alive by causing an upset over the front runners of the competition, the New South Wales Swifts. Bernie, the Mystics have played an Aussie side on 12 occasions since this competition started and only won once. How much can we read into that?
Well, obviously that's not a great track record, but Mystics are the team that have pushed the Swifts every time they've come up against them in the last couple of years, so they could be a bit of a bogey side for this one.
Well, let's have a look at this bogey side. The Swifts lineup is very settled and no holes there.
No surprises in this lineup. So the top 7 for the New South Wales Swifts. Sonia McCloma, she's a real key in that defensive end, teamed up with Rebecca Bulley. And in the mid-court, a dynamic trio of Smith, Green and Ware. They have been on fire in previous games. And in the shooting end, Catherine Cox and Susan Prattley, very similar shooting stats, and I think if they're on song, they can be unstoppable. Julie Fitzgerald, she won't be wanting to make too many changes in this lineup.
Talking of Julie Fitzgerald, the coach of the Swifts, she is with Jenny Woods.
Julie Fitzgerald, great to have you here in Auckland. I've got to ask you, cellar dwellers last year, unbeaten this year. What's the secret?
I think, one, we've worked really hard, but two, we've allowed players to settle back into their regular positions and play in established combinations throughout the year. And with that, we've grown a little bit in confidence as well.
You call this a danger match. Why?
Oh, as soon as the draw came out and we looked at the Mystics lineup, they've got some quality players in there and we knew that they were going to be a really strong contender. So we've always known this would be a hard one.
Thanks, Julie. We're looking forward to it.
Now let's have a look at some of the key players. None more important than this one, Bernie, Catherine Cox.
Well, she's one of those shooters that if she is on song, she is unstoppable, but she can be up and down, so she'll rely a bit on Prattley as well, who's teaming with her.
And the Swifts have been strong defensively all season. We often talk about McCloma, but Rebecca Bulley's no slouch.
Well, Rebecca Bulley, she is leading the points table over in Australia, and she has teamed up with McCloma. They've been doing an excellent job in the defensive end and picking up loads of ball.
Well, this is a massive game for the Mystics, so let's have a look at their lineup. It's a very settled one.
It is very settled. They've got a top 7 that have shown their way. The Northern Mystics in the defensive end. Althea Byfield, she has been a star import, that Jamaican import, teaming up with Jolene Henry at goal defence. In the mid-court, the key there, Temapara George, she energised the battery in the mid and feeding into those shooters. Catherine Latu, 100% in the last outing that she had, 41 from 41. She'll be wanting to emulate that today as well. And on the bench, I would imagine Jenny Maycoffin, she would be the only change that Tiara Hukinen may make in this game.
Talking Tiara Keenan, she is courtside with Jenny Woods.
Tiara Hukinen, how beneficial or otherwise was that close shave against the Central Pulse?
Well, I think what it said to us was that if we were going to win a game, we had to do it together. And going into our bye week, it was a good shake-up call for us.
And how valuable this sell-out home crowd?
It's always great to have the support, but I think the crowd realised this is going to be a great match, and that's exactly how we're approaching it.
Thanks, Tiara. We'll enjoy it.
For the Mystics to get up this afternoon, all players will need to contribute, particularly this player, Larissa Wilcox.
A bit of an unsung hero for this Mystics side. We've talked a lot about Byfield in the defensive end, picking up a lot of aerial ball, but Wilcox is setting that up. She's playing man-on-man really tight.
Cox is the key for the Swifts in the shooting circle. Maybe Tutaye is for the Mystics.
Well, Tutaye, being a New Zealand player, she has a little bit of pressure on her shoulders. I think her key is that she can shoot from anywhere in the circle, but she needs to really hit it with her game out on the court.
Well, it's a massive game. It is about to begin, but before we head to the match, let's hear from someone who really came into her own playing for the World 7 last year, coached by today's opposing coach, Julie Fitzgerald. Yes, it's Northern Mystics shooter, Catherine Latu.
It was different being coached by Julie Fitzgerald, the Swifts coach. It was very different being coached by an Australian, but I really enjoyed it and I learned a lot of her in those last couple of days. I have a lot of respect for her and she's very tactical, but in terms of their defenders, they're extremely different to our New Zealand defenders, so we just need to play the ball around and just have confidence in each other. Australian defenders go for everything and they have the energy to go for everything, whereas New Zealanders will maybe miss a couple of passes and then sit on you. So it's being ready for anything because they are nuggety and they never give up. You definitely have to change it up because as fast and clever as they are, they pick it up straight away. So being able to change up whenever you need to is definitely a plus.
And they will just want to throw this around the Northern Mystics because they are going to get out of jail.
Top 4 is our aim, yes. We do have a team of champions. It's just about nailing the combinations. It's something we want desperately and we're going to try everything in our power to do it.
We are done with domestic matchups. Round 11 of the ANZ Championship signals the resumption of Trans-Tasman battle, and it starts with a sellout at the Trust Stadium. The all-conquering New South Wales Swifts hit Auckland, hoping to continue their unblemished run in 2010. But the Northern Mystics have aspirations of their own, currently in a three-way tie for fourth place. They need a win today to keep their hopes alive. Expert commentary this afternoon from former Silver Fern captain Bernice Menny. And Bernie, the Swifts, they have the second lowest shooting accuracy in the comp, yet are unbeaten. Now, what's that all about?
Well, quite a surprising statistic, but it just goes to show how much ball they're actually getting on defence. They're putting up a high number of goals, but the percentages are not up there.
And as we're talking about shooting percentage, there are the shooters, Cox, and at goal attack, Susan Pratley. She's in good form, isn't she?
Pratley, she is a bit of a key there in that shooting circle. Cox can be up and down. I think Pratley is very consistent in terms of her form, and they roll the circle really nicely and put up shots from anywhere.
So they'll also be hoping for good ball from Vanessa Ware at wing attack. Often a player we don't talk about too much, but certainly a solid performer.
Definitely a solid performer, and a key really in there for putting those feeds into the space and setting up the shooters.
The crowd tells the story as the Mystics take the court, and Catherine Latu, she shot 100% on the last outing against the Pulse Bernice. She's key this afternoon, isn't she?
Absolutely, and I'm looking forward to this matchup between Latu and McCloma. They played together in the World 7 last year, and so they know each other's play. And Latu, she's just a real entertainer to watch on the court, and the crowd, you can hear them here, they love her.
So a big game for Coach Dowda Harkinen, looking impassive. But my word, they know that their season really rides on this game here this afternoon in Auckland. Now running the sideline, former Australian captain Catherine Harvey-Williams. And Kath, we've talked a lot about the shooters and the defenders, but who's going to win the battle of the midcourt?
Well, whoever does will be the team that gets up this afternoon, but I think the midcourt really need to focus on the defensive effort. The team that defends solidly and slows up the play through that centre third will be the team that gets up here this afternoon.
Mystics to begin this all-important game. So Mystics versus Swifts at the Trust Stadium. We're away. So a cautious start here from the home side. Still in the mid-third. Great defensive pressure here from the Swifts.
It's always a test of your opposition in the first few minutes, and McCloma, she has had the better of Latu there. She got a great intercept coming out of the circle.
What a season she's had.
Well, she's played in a few of these different teams in the ANZ Championship. She's tried each one, and I hear that she's loving Sydney and the Swifts.
And wouldn't she be loving playing with a team that could possibly compete in the final of this competition? Wasn't the case with the Pulse or the Tactics.
Through the hands of Catherine Cox, so a chance here for the Mystics to make up for that early turnover.
And the Mystics making quick work, getting that ball down the court.
Oh, great rebound. That emphatic take of the ball by Latu.
She's extremely aerial and extremely strong in the air, Latu.
Look at the hold Latu put on McCloma.
And that is one of her strengths, her hold, using her body well, and of course, her top shooting. So the New South Wales Swifts using those pockets well deep into the corners, into the feeding corners.
Oh, a bad mistake there from the Northern Mystics. That centre pass not taken in the centre third.
Might seem like a small mistake, but you can't afford to make those in the big occasions like this one. The Swifts will make them pay.
Yeah, it was good defensive work by the Swifts, forcing the Mystics back. Vanessa Ware finding Cox at the top of the circle. Temapara George going high, but also offside.
So Henry just pulled for having her arm slightly out.
And Jolene Henry, identified by the Swifts coach, Julie Fitzgerald, as one of the danger players she has a lot of respect for in this Mystics side. And she'll need to be on top of her game to make a dent in these Swift shooters' performance. Oh, thrown away, that pass.
So a really slow release from Tutaia and a very slow turn on the ball.
She sits very highly when it comes to turnovers in the overall competition. Makes a lot of mistakes, so she needs to tidy up that area of her game.
Timothy George having a go at every ball.
So not a miss yet from the Swift shooters. They've been up and down this season. Oh, McCloma gets the tap and collects. So already she's causing problems.
She made it look very easy.
Those long arms helped.
So nice little roll here for the visitors.
Step called.
Yep, Kimberly Smith didn't look as though she altogether agreed. But here's a chance for the Northern Mystics. Oh, hard luck for Kimberly Green. She'd won the turnover, but just couldn't keep in court.
Been in fine form throughout the season, Kimberly Green, as have most of the Swiss players. Total contrast from last year when all of them underperformed and they finished second bottom, I think it was.
Nice bit of footwork there from Catherine Latu.
Latu did really well there, considering that the defence were front marking her as she moved around them.
Contact called against Tutaia. Using the elbow, she came through.
So Cox.
Yeah, under pressure, Kim Green just caught off balance. Oh! Beautiful vision from George.
And a magnificent take from Catherine Latu. She seemed to pluck that ball out of the air.
You can't underestimate how much that lifts your team.
Oh, easy ball into Cox.
So Cox and Pratley, they're splitting the defenders early on in the game.
Oh, great tip there.
Thought it was tipped out of court by Rasmussen. Must have been wrong.
So the Swifts getting their hands up over the ball, 3 foot.
Oh, Latu doing well just to keep that ball alive. Hooking it back to Tutaia. Henry looking in. Again, the shot short from Tutaia. And there's the first miss of the game for Latu. So that's costly for the Mystics.
So a few messy ball handling areas.
Yep.
Early on in the game.
A little bit of untidy play.
The bench of the Mystics calling out, stay on them, stay on them. So they're really focusing on their defensive effort.
Maria Tutaia just adjusting her length on the shot. Look at Deb Fuller, the assistant coach of the Mystics. Plenty to say.
Well, the games that the Mystics have done well in, they have had tight defence right throughout the game, right throughout the court.
Fabulous ball into Susan Pratley. Got rolled as she took it.
Byfield just mistiming that intercept.
No one coming for the Mystics. They need to help their teammates out.
Great pressure from Kimberly Green. watch her and Timmy Para-George this afternoon. It'll be a great tussle. Now they're starting to fall for Tutaia. Halfway through the first quarter, 1 goal in it. And how important, Bernice, is it that the Mystics don't let the Swifts get away on them?
Well, they let them get away to a 3-goal lead at the beginning. They've clawed that back to just 1. So I think the assistant coach, Debbie Fuller, her saying stay on defence is essentially the key. Both teams really struggling to find some flow in their attacking ends, which means that the defence, obviously Bully coming up with the ball there, the defence are getting some success.
Yep, great defensive work from the Swifts. Henry managing just to tip that out.
Yeah, Byfield's losing Cox on a number of occasions. She needs to stick a little bit tighter. I think she's looking for the loose ball more so than worrying about Cox. And Cox can be very dangerous in that respect.
And not a miss yet from the Swift shooters.
So Cox coming out of the circle, playing a feeding role.
So suddenly the Swifts have that lead out to 4 goals. That's better ball.
Again, Cox taking Byfield out of the circle and having a free run for Prattley in there.
And Catherine, it certainly looks a much easier path for the Swifts than it does for the Mystics.
Yes, it does. I think they're a little bit loose defensively, and when the Mystics do come off and have a go at the ball, they're just mistiming it a little bit, and then they're finding their players out of position, which makes it tough for the back two.
Oh, nice pick up, Timmy Para-George.
Grace Rasmussen, she's up high in the centre third. She'll want to get down and try and feed on the circle edge.
Yeah, there's a lot more system and fluency to the Swifts game. The Mystics have to work a lot harder and they spend a lot of time going across court. But if it results in a goal, I guess it doesn't matter.
And a goal like that's not bad. And I guess the Mystics players will be well aware of how important this game is for them. Now, need to do more of that sort of play. Thumbs up, Timmy Para-George.
So both Timmy Para-George and Byfield saw that intercept.
And thrown it straight away. That ball deemed to come off the hands of Grace Rasmussen. I think it did too.
Crowd don't think so.
Funny that.
Yeah. Yeah, here we go.
Good combination between Jolene Henry and Larissa Wilcox. This time, can the Mystics make it count?
No one home in the circle for the Mystics. Latu doing a bit more moving than she generally does. Probably a little bit rattled by McClomert.
She had a bit of a grumpy look on before having to come out of the circle to help out her attackers.
Oh. Confidence.
Yeah, you've got to wonder how that ball snuck through, but it did. Great. Oh, just Tutaia rather not ready for that ball from Latu.
Latu just a bit sneaky for her own good there.
Yeah, Henry's coming off on a number of occasions, just getting the timing wrong, finding herself caught out.
And Byfield's just getting a little bit flat, not keeping her angles on Cox.
So the Mystics blow a chance there to get a bit closer to the New South Wales Swifts.
Prattley for a long shot.
Oh, fantastic.
So the Swifts still on 100% shooting.
Oh.
A little bit of aggression.
I think we've come to be used to that from Jolene Henry.
Smith virtually tackling Rasmussen. It's a very physical contest, quite entertaining.
A lot of bodies clashing in that Mystic circle.
Swift snapping up the loose ball on the edge of the circle.
You sense a bit more urgency with the Swift sides with only 2 minutes to go.
Oh, just a bit of misunderstanding there from Cox, but look at that. Bully gets it straight back for her. Yeah, and the Mystics players just caught there, I think, waiting for whistle. They need to just keep playing. So the Swifts now, 5-goal advantage.
So Cox doing a lot of work coming out of the circle. I think part of her ploy, though, for bringing Byfield out and splitting those defenders.
Last 2 minutes of every quarter are quite crucial. Teams can get a good run on.
Oh, that looks awkward for Latu. She's up, though. So
No
really
sympathy from McCloma.
No, what a surprise. Yeah, the wheel's just coming off a bit here for the Northern Mystics. They've got a turnover now, though. Scrappy play.
But with a minute to go, the Mystic side, they want to treasure this ball, look after it, and score off it.
Oh, too casual, Larissa Wilcox. You just...
That was brilliant. She's so entertaining to watch, Althea Byfield. She had an outstanding season.
So aerial with that intercept.
And still plenty of time here for the Mystics. But as you said, Bernice, they need to treasure it.
Umpire's time. There seems to be some water or some moisture on the court where Latu fell down.
So just over half a minute remaining. It's been a good quarter third, I should no, quarter. Losing track of my fractions for the New South Wales Swifts. Look at Byfield, though.
And just to back that up, Jenny, it's an outstanding effort. Some players would be happy just tipping it over the sideline.
Yet Latu's hurrying. She knows there's not too much time in the clock. Look at the battle with her and McCloma. Fabulous.
So the Swifts for the centre pass. They'll be rushing to get that ball in the goal.
Oh, terrific work. That's fantastic play. Vanessa Ware did so well, kept that ball alive, and it is the last passage of play in the first quarter. And it's the New South Wales Swifts with the advantage. They lead the Northern Mystics 17-11.
Just now we need you on her. We need someone cutting off the lead, and when one does make a strong lead, run that lead down, but the other one has to be in front of the popper. You know what I mean? Yeah. So she's going hard, and the other one's just popping. Yeah. Get in front so we can put some lifted ball instead of the flat ball over.
We're creating some ball, and I think we're having people going for it, but there's no one in for the crumbs.
Yeah.
So I think we just need to hit some leaders. Like that last one, I must run it.
And we can just stop that a little bit. And as soon as we take the pace off, something opens up for us. But transition-wise, obviously, what they're looking for is a really fast ball out. So as soon as the ball's in the circle on the outside, you'll be thinking how you're going to hold them up, where you want them to go, how you're going to dictate.
Great hustle on D. You're being really...
So there is Swifts coach Julie Fitzgerald saying, we want to dictate, and beneath many, they are dictating at the moment, aren't they?
They are dictating, particularly their shooting end. They are making all the plays. Defensively, the Mystics are just reacting. And on these shooting percentages, 100%, so you can't ask for better than that.
And certainly it's a shooting performance the Swifts needed, isn't it? Because as we've talked about, you know, their accuracy hasn't been all that great this year, but they just get fed so much ball.
And it really goes to show as well that the Mystics defence are just a little bit loose and need to tighten up in there.
So it will be the Mystics who begin the second quarter at the Trust Stadium. They trail by 6. And that doesn't help matters, but they've won it back.
Catherine Latu, she's doing her best in there to be rock solid and pull her weight, but you don't want her to do too much work outside the circle.
Rebecca Bully going high.
So Tutaia for the long shot, but not wanting to shoot it.
And Latu was there ready for the rebound, not waiting for a pass.
And Tutaia is good enough for those shots, Jenny. In this sort of game, you expect your Silver Fern representative to put those in.
So, Catherine, is that a sign, do you think, that these Swifts defenders are in ahead a little bit?
Oh, they certainly are. Bully's having an outstanding game, as is McCloma, and that's why Latu's coming out of the circle. She feels as though McCloma's too good on the one-on-one. So Tutaia really needs to come into the game.
Great one-handed feed from Green on the circle edge. And Jolene Henry just sticking a little bit too tight on man on Pratley.
And the perfect shooting game from the Swifts continues. Oh, a little hop there from Pratley.
Just giving a jump.
Just got caught hesitating.
It's interesting, Rasmussen and George have changed roles when they're in attack. Rasmussen comes up deep and Timapara drops back. It's obviously a game plan.
So Tutaia looked a little unsure of her footwork there.
Yes. So there's one back for the home side.
Rasmussen just not able to pull that ball in. She's having quite an average game so far.
That's a better ball from Tutaia.
But both Swifts defenders having a go at it.
Always looks totally unfazed, Catherine Latu, by what's going on.
So strong off the centre pass from the Swifts.
Yeah, great play, Catherine Cox. That fabulously strong bounce pass, cuts in straight away.
So a really telling statistic is that the Swifts have scored 12 of their 16 centre passes, whereas the Mystics only 4 of their 17. So they really need to work on looking after the ball that you're given.
Lucky they're only 6 goals down then.
I guess, too, that's testament to the calibre of the Swifts' defence. Ooh, Henry, bit of a late charge. Larissa Wilcox, I should say.
Green, such a strong driver to the ball.
First miss for the Swifts.
And there's a second. I think this is the Catherine Cox the Mystics were hoping would turn up.
She just looked like she rushed those shots.
So this is a critical piece of play for the Northern Mystics. That might help settle things a little for Tutaia.
You can see the relief on Tutaia's face.
Yeah, she doesn't look confident, does she? Hopefully that will be a turning point.
And Bully will be feeling that Tutaia is just starting to get a bit more of a roll on, get a bit of her confidence back. So she'll be wanting to get on top of her.
Sonia McCloma having plenty to say here to Jonathan Breton.
Yeah, Bully telling her to settle down a bit.
Well, you definitely don't want to get offside with the umpires. Not in the second quarter, anyway.
No, a bit early in the game for that.
And at least your opponents as well, you know, if they're struggling.
And look at this, this will lift them. It's certainly lifting this crowd, which was getting, I think, a little despondent at what was going on.
Well, the Mystics have scored the last 3 goals.
And the ball's back in Latu's hands, just. So make that the last 4 goals, Bernie, with the ball in hand.
And Tutaia, she just made her movement a little bit late.
Oh, that ball needed to go in quickly from Rasmussen. Oh, good work, Wally. Almost forced the hesitation from Latu, but Latu sold it.
Well, can you believe only one goal in it now after that huge lead in the first quarter for the Swifts?
And let's not forget, the Mystics should be desperate. If they don't win today, their finals hopes are virtually dead. So this is the pressure they should be applying throughout the entire game.
Oh, Jolene Henry does well. Temepara George does her bit as well. That was acrobatic.
She's been playing like a rookie over the past few weeks. She's in sensational form, George.
Now they need to just settle things down here. Oh, just a bullet from Wilcox. She puts her hand to her head. Now they've got to do it all over again. She tries to make amends. Oh.
They are on a roll, this Mystics defence.
How's the jump with the splits? She must practice that at home. Still, Susan Prattley settles things down for the Swifts. And time is called. Temepara George just wanting some attention.
Well, there's been some bodies flying. I can imagine she crashed onto the sideline.
It has been a very exciting beginning to the second quarter. They were trailing 18, well, by 7 goals anyway.
I think it's a blister timeout.
So Henry there. George just keeping that in. Umpire in good position there to see that that was all in order.
And that's the commitment that the Mystics need to have for the whole 60 minutes of this game.
Well, that's right, and as Kath mentioned, it is on the line today for the Northern Mystics, and they've put so much pressure on themselves throughout the season, really. But Bernie, you could argue, you know, they shouldn't be in this position. They should be higher up the table.
But they have had opportunities in games to win matches that they haven't pulled off.
And there was so much hype pre-season about their recruiting campaign. They brought in the big guns and they've really struggled. And you look at the turnaround in this game, it's because Henry and Tutoyer have come into the action in the last few minutes.
Well, and really important, those goal defence, goal attack positions play a big part.
So Vanessa Ware called back for the contact. Nothing on there for the Mystics.
George hitting the top of the circle, that key spot for feeding.
Oh, lucky for the Mystics there that Bully put a hand up to that.
So Tutoyer and Latu just struggling to make good space, show their feeders where their space is to be fed.
Battle Royale down there.
McCloma this time gets a smile from the umpire. 1 goal the difference. Oh, there she goes again, Temepara George. Oh, they're lucky with that too, the Northern Mystics. Getting the bounce of the ball at the moment. Are they what?
So George's footwork, she took her 3 feet and then managed to intercept that ball. It's quite a difficult job.
And McCloma just had her hands up before her feet were in place. The Northern Mystics hit the front halfway through the second quarter.
No shooters in the circle for the Swifts.
And they're keeping the players off the circle edge, which is a good plan. Oh, nicely held by Prattley.
Yep, Byfield drawn right out. So we're back where we began. Even Stevens.
And the Swifts going back to a man-on-man or one-on-one marking on defence.
Great ball from George. And the crowd really starting to get into this game. It's a sellout here in Waitakere this afternoon. And we saw last week what a good crowd can do when we saw the Invercargill crowd get the steal over the line.
A good tip from Wilcox. Great jump from Macloma.
So now the game settled down, goal for goal. Oh, awesome shooting. Oh, and that's a gift for Macloma. Oh, bouncy, bouncy through the legs. And she's away.
The Swifts making sharp work down the court. Good straight line right through the middle of the court. Henry having a go, but just too late.
Just not enough on that ball. That's bread and butter for Sonia Macloma.
It's where the Mystics let themselves down when they get on a roll and they try and release these impossible passes. They probably need to play it safe for a little bit.
So the last 3 goals, now the momentum going back the way of the New South Wales Swifts.
Tutai doing a lot more work, which is what the Mystics need.
Get another shot at this. High and true.
Again, George really upsetting her opposition on her 3-foot guard.
Oh, nice work, Althea Byfield, just getting that outside arm round. Timapara George not quite able to do the same. Byfield, though, called for the contact.
The crowd seem to have gone a little bit quiet in the last few minutes.
I think they're tense, Bernice. Which way is this game going to go? I think they're pretty glum after that first quarter.
It's danger time, though. This is when the Mystics let it slip away in that first quarter. They've got to stay with them now.
So Catherine Latu doing her bit, just the one miss. 14 from 15 for Latu.
So the Mystics doing well on defence. Every time the Swifts get the ball, you can see that they're having to look hard to see their teammates, see their players in the space.
The Swifts bench, they do look a bit nervous themselves.
So Latu, she's floating right deep in this corner. Interesting strategy.
Yeah, once she's out, it's difficult for her to get back in because Macloma is so good at that defensive effort. It's almost a waste to have Latu out of the circle.
Oh, Macloma's great to watch.
She's got a big grin on her face, all the same, being called for the contact. So Jolene Henry just getting caught too high, looking for intercepts. She needs to get back and help Byfield because the ball is whizzing around.
Yeah,
Byfield, she can't have a go.
And that was a fine ball from Kimberly Green, straight along the baseline to Cox. Oh, Rebecca Bully coming through.
Just a cluster of Swifts players there. The Mystics were never going to get a hand on it.
And again, the Mystics guilty of forcing it. And they pay. And the difference is 3.
Continual breaking goal attack, free pass.
Yeah, Tutai is standing on the outside of Bully. She needs to be on the inside, forcing her wide.
And she got called there for continued breaking, so she'll need to start tidying that up.
So Susan Prattley continues on her merry way. 100% today for Susan Prattley so far.
Next bit of movement from Latu. She timed her dodge. And she certainly had she was at the forefront for the rebound there.
A bit too keen at times, McCloma.
So just a few seconds remaining in this first half at Auckland. Oh, just too much on that ball. So the Mystics, they'll want to move quickly here and see if they can pick up a bonus.
See how aware they are.
Wilcoxes. Oh, they're going to run out of time here, the Northern Mystics. Rebecca Bully putting that ball behind her.
Umpires held time.
And she's been called for delaying play. Oh, the ball has swung. There's a little smile on the face of Catherine Latu, and well, there might be, because that last goal has kept the Northern Mystics in touch here at the Trust Stadium. It's half-time. It's 30-28. The New South Wales Swifts leading the Northern Mystics. We'll be back shortly with all the analysis. Half-time at the Trust Stadium in Waitakere, and things are close. It's the New South Wales Swifts leading the Northern Mystics by just 2 goals, 30-28. Certainly the Swifts very commanding in the first quarter. It would have pleased that woman, Australian coach Norma Plummer, sitting there with Nicole Cusack, her assistant coach. Second quarter, though, not so good for the Swifts. The Northern Mystics coming back at them, but still the Swifts with the advantage, 30-28, the lead at half-time. And Bernice Meni, Catherine Latu, largely responsible for keeping her side in the game.
Yeah, she's been the woman that's held it together down there. She did a lot of work when they had a bit of a lapse, coming out of the circle and really moving the ball around. And now she's able to just work on her goal shoot game now that Tutai has come back into the game.
Yep, she's only missed 2 goals, sitting at 89%, and she will need to keep that up because the Northern Mystics do desperately need her. And there's a very dedicated Mystic supporter. You'd have to be dedicated to wear a wig like that and a pair of glasses like that. Another very important cog in the wheel for the Mystics is this woman, Temepara George.
And we've seen her up and down the court. She's had intercepts down the defensive end and then flying up the other end, being absolutely dynamic on the circle edge, feeding. And she's found some beautiful space, beautiful feeds into Latu. And she just really will be egging the rest of her team on to pick up the momentum and to join her in this battle, really.
That's right, and she just never stops, Temepara George. Just when you think, you know, perhaps the game is going not her way, she pulls something out of the bag to make sure that things stay there. But now here's a different player at a different time in her career to Temepara George, Ellen Halpenny. She's the latest nominee in the Mars Red Best Young Player. Now remember, this is a new competition. It's for players under 25 who before this season only played in 5 games or fewer in the ANZ Championship. So there's young Ellen Halpenny, plays for the Tactics. She's the latest nominee. She joins Shani Layton, who was last week's nominee. Shani Layton, of course, plays for the Thunderbirds, 21-year-old. She's 22 next week, in fact, but coming in well under the cut-off point of 25. So it is half-time at the Trust Stadium. New South Wales Swifts leading the Mystics, 30 goals, 28. Back soon. We are moments away from the second half at the Trust Stadium. It's the New South Wales Swifts leading the Northern Mystics, 30 goals to 28. Bernice Meni, what do you make of those numbers?
Well, some interesting statistics here. The goal percentages in particular. The Swifts having a high percentage this game, which they wanted, 94%. Versus the Mystics at 82%. And the intercepts, they were another interesting one in that the Mystics had some good clean intercepts.
And they'll need to keep getting those intercepts if they're to stay in touch with the New South Wales Swifts. We're away in the third quarter. The Mystics trailing by 2.
Well, it feels like both teams have really got saving something up, so they can definitely accelerate.
It's interesting with the Mystics too, sorry Jenny, is that they had a game plan at the beginning of the season to bring Jenny May Coffin on at half-time. They seem to have thrown that away, sticking with Rasmussen.
And so both sides sticking with the 7 that they began with.
So lots of cross-court passes there that the Mystics could have intercepted. They just had their heads down, but they've got the rebound.
Nice clip across the neck from Green. George didn't appreciate that. Having a great contest.
Oh, this is a messy start to the third quarter by both sides. Let's go sideline now to hear the thoughts of Te Araha Keenan. And Te Araha, a better second quarter for your side, but what did you ask of your players at half-time?
Well, not what they started with, but just that composure when they've got the ball, staying on two feet and delivering a quality pass to their teammates.
And looking at your opposition, Te Araha, any key players for the Swifts to combat here?
Sorry, Benny, I didn't hear that.
Looking at the opposition at the Swifts, any key players that you're looking at to combat here?
Well, no individual players. I think they're all just on task as a team. So we've got to be on ours. We've got to really make sure that we take responsibility for all the things that we need to do on court.
Well, good luck for that, Te Araha. The second half of the game.
And there is at last the first goal of the second half. It took a while. Some messy play, but all culminating in a goal to the Northern Mystics. Cox just lifting that ball right across the shooting circle. Oh, Byfield saw that. She's been called.
So this third quarter is always a real key for both sides.
So the 2-goal advantage maintained by the New South Wales Swifts. Let's now hear the thoughts of Swifts coach Julie Fitzgerald. And Julie, you started with a hiss and a roar, not so good in the second quarter. Where do you want some improvement?
I think we've made far too many easy turnovers and we've got a little bit too caught up in the pace of the game. And defensively, I don't think we're doing enough to hold the ball up coming down the court.
And Julie, anything that you're looking at from the Mystics' point of view, any key players on their side that you're looking to combat or target?
Oh, I think they're all playing like a side who really needs this win. I think their energy and that they're putting into this is really telling.
Thanks, Julie. And that's it in a nutshell, really, isn't it? That the Mystics need this game desperately. The Swifts know they're in the playoffs already. So much riding on this for the Northern Mystics.
So again, Latu getting the ball between two defenders, an outstanding effort.
Her hands are as good as anyone in this competition.
And it's the way, Kath, isn't it, that she takes the ball. She just swipes it down.
Yeah, she struggled for form for a few years, but I think she finally realises she's got a place in the big time, and she's a very confident and different player than what she was even 12 months ago.
And interesting, isn't it? Because, I mean, you could argue that Swifts coach Julie Fitzgerald played a part in that building of confidence when she coached her for the World 7 last year.
Well, I thought that was a real turning point for Latu in that she came to the fore. She just seemed to grow in confidence in that World 7 series.
Oh, not in the circle, that ridiculous rule.
Your favourite rule, Kath? Just maddening.
Maybe you could explain it because it's so ridiculous.
They've won it back, though. Grace Rasmussen. And now they're building cautiously. Oh, Grace Rasmussen, yeah, that was uncalled for. There was no need. She lifted the elbow. Crowd obviously don't like it, but...
So it's a very rare thing for an attacker with the ball to be pulled for contact.
Smith has been wearing Rasmussen. I think the cool customer that Rasmussen generally wasn't evident there.
Yeah, just perhaps a bit of frustration, but it's not needed.
So once again, the Mystics on attack through the court.
Oh, look at that. Temapara George realised she was going to lose it, but sadly tipped it back to Rebecca Bully, who gratefully accepted.
Byfield and Cox, arms entangled together.
So that gets advanced because Byfield's having a...
I'll take further action, okay?
And there's a stern warning from Jonathan Braden. And I suppose we should mention here what an umpire can do if this sort of play gets out of hand is that they can put a player on the sideline for a number of minutes or goals, whichever they decide. So time called, I guess. Is this a cooling off period?
Got to say, though, the umpiring hasn't been too bad. Yes, it is very physical, and some people would argue they should impose themselves a bit more, but I think that they've made the calls when needed, so it's a good effort from the umpires, and that generally isn't something that I'm very appreciative of, so they must be doing something right.
So high praise from Catherine Harding-Williams.
Any praise is high praise.
Come and bring it into the circle.
We saw at the beginning of that break, Jolene Henry absolutely taking Althea Byfield aside and almost sort of whispering in her ear, cajoling her along, saying, look, cool it, take it easy.
I'll go.
So there's 3 goals in it, 34-31, the Swifts in the lead. And it will be Swifts with the centre pass. So we've had that little cooling down period. In the makings of a great game. Again, Temapara George.
She's by far and away the best player out in court today.
Yep, spoiling things. Oh, she's been straight through the shooting circle.
It's interesting, the Mystics, they're employing a man-on-man defence, so they're playing hard on their own partners, whereas after that talk from Jonathan Braden, I would have dropped off and gone into a bit of a zone there.
Oh, lovely lean from Rebecca Bully. She's called, though. She sort of fell in. But for a while there, looking pretty impressive. So Tutaia makes good on the second shot. So that shooting percentage just coming up a little bit for the Northern Mystics.
Just some easy, calm passes from the Swifts.
Yeah, that was nice patience, wasn't it, from Prattley? Oh, again, not in the circle.
So to do it twice in a game, you'd really kick yourself, being Temapara George.
Yeah, especially when it's this tight. George will be happy with that call, getting the ball back.
Stepping by Prattley.
Tutaia out of the circle with the ball.
Green it is this time, called for the contact. Gosh, Green just about getting round and taking that cleanly. Oh, hands go up. McCloma says sorry.
So they're replaying the penalty. Green being told to not talk.
And I think that's a not set.
No, that was a short pass, Jenny. There needs to be enough space for someone to walk through between the two hands.
So, frustration for the Mystics. Just little mistakes, letting them down at crucial times.
Yeah, that's what their coach talked about, didn't she, Keenan? Said she just wants her team to maintain their composure and be balanced.
And that ball just slipping over Henry's head.
Oh, look at Prattley going so well to keep that alive. And they win the throw-in.
not winning over the crowd, though.
Yeah, fairly obvious contact from Henry. And Susan Prattley continues on her merry way, 19 from 19. Fantastic stats. And Julie Fitzgerald talked about this being a danger match for the Swifts. Well, this is danger time for the Northern Mystics. They're down by 6 now. 6 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Oh. A no-look throw behind the head pass from Latu. It doesn't work.
A couple of times in the game, Latu has fooled everyone, including her teammates that she's thrown the ball to.
Yep, that put Tutaia under all kinds of pressure.
And George again having a go on the circle edge at the intercept.
I thought she might just about have done that cleanly, actually, but umpire Jonathan Britton says no, the chant goes up. And Byfield not having a happy time of it. Prattley's first miss. But Cox tidies up for her. So the margin back out to 7, where we were at the end of the first quarter. So this is damaging for the Mystics.
Well, it is damaging. The third quarter is the one that often, if you can put your foot down and get a good lead, 8 goals now towards the Swifts, then it can be hard to claw back in 15 minutes in the last quarter.
This is where the Mystics are a frustrating side. They haven't really changed their game plan. They've simply wasted ball. Lucky to get away with that one.
Yeah, Latu quickly dropping her hands.
I think Latu had a few words to Bully then.
So definitely a concerned look from Tiara Hakkinen, coach of the Mystics, on the sideline.
Yeah, Byfield getting very frustrated. She's not sure what she can do.
Well, I think as a team, the Mystics need to work together on defence here.
Oh, nice skill, Catherine Cox. So Bernice Meni, 3 minutes, just over 3 minutes left in this third quarter. What would you be thinking if you were Keenan? Would you be thinking of changes?
If I were Keenan, I would probably be looking at Jenny May Copper, making a change in that wing attack position. I think Grace Rasmussen looks like she's tiring slightly, and possibly the Mystics just need a little change.
It's interesting, though, isn't it? Because often Jenny May is brought into centre and George gone to wing attack. I think that they should just do that direct swap with Rasmussen.
And there was Coffin, Prattley just going off a little bit off the boil here. Cox and Henry enjoying a smile. Oh, jeepers, through the hands, through the legs of Maria Tutaia.
So the momentum is going all the Swifts' way. And on defence, the Mystics seem to be quite frantic. They need to really just pull the team together.
Yeah, good pressure. It made Prattley hesitant on that pass and coughed up the intercept for Byfield. Oh, I think McComb is lucky to get that throw in. I think she might know it too.
She does.
Well, the crowd not having so much to cheer about. They're certainly being vocal.
Good drive from Bully, and she looked over the mess and out, right down the back to Cox.
Again, George dancing along the side of the circle.
Oh, well,
Byfield.
yeah.
Oh, that's confidence in your teammate. Bats it down to Wilcox.
Like a pro volleyballer. Nice little set.
And then they do that. They must be the most frustrating team to coach in this competition. And they've let the Swifts back in this game. Or allow them to surge ahead.
Contact on the ball, goal attack, both to 5. 5. Contact of the ball. All three players.
You've now got 3 players standing down.
So Byfield getting lots of tips and lots of 2 clean intercepts in the last few minutes, but none that her team have scored off.
But the word would have to be utter, well, 2 words, utter frustration for Northern Mystics supporters. Nice little ball from George.
And a strong take from Catherine Latu.
Well, they've come back from 7 down before, but can they do it again?
So you see that third quarter statistic for the Mystics, 21 penalties against them. That's huge to clock up in this quarter.
Yeah, just Henry just too slow getting out. Pratley just missing the last few attempts. She's going to have another one, though. It's more difficult, but it's good.
So Pratley, 23 from 26 goals, sitting on 88%.
Oh.
And Rasmussen, ball straight to the opposition.
Tiara Hakinen will be wanting to just hang her head in disbelief, really, at some of the things her players are doing. And look at that from Catherine Cox on the stroke of the end of the third quarter. She makes sure, does it count? Yes, it does. It is the end of the third quarter here at Trust Stadium. It's 44 to the New South Wales Swifts, over 35 to the Northern Mystics. We'll be back soon with the final quarter.
But don't close up with that. Make sure your drives are still really strong. Keep attacking the ball all the time, okay? Quick hands in there.
Control is our centre pass, okay? You get that turnover and walk it down if you have to, okay? Be really patient. Don't transfer any stress down to these guys. Just keep ball side and take it down. I know, okay?
So Mystics assistant coach Deb Fuller telling her players to control the centre pass. And Catherine, there's a change.
There is in the wing attack position for the Mystics. Rasmussen has come off and Jenny May Coffin into her position.
So beneath many, that's the change we wondered about. It's been called. Is it going to be enough?
Well, they have let the Swifts get away to a 7-goal, 9-goal advantage, and it was 14-7 in that third quarter. It's going to come down to discipline here for this Mystics side and finishing off.
And they've really got to take it to the New South Wales Swifts now. 9 goals to make up. They scored just 7 goals in that third quarter. Just incredibly low, but you've got to hats off to this team from New South Wales. They're far more clinical and playing with a lot more precision. So the final quarter begins at the Trust Stadium.
I think the Mystics need to make some inroads early on, because let's not forget that the Swiss team was in Perth on Monday night, so it's been a quick turnaround for them.
Yep, they've certainly clocked up some air points.
Well, just things like that. The contact from Tutaia, simply holding up the game and not achieving anything.
Patley pirouetting on one foot.
A good switch from the Mystics defence.
Not good enough, though, and the margin is 10.
It's a difficult position for Jenny May Coffin, coming on for just 15 minutes to see if she can make an impact.
Big bounce pass right across the circle. Latu's with the hand up, but she doesn't get it.
And Bully pulled for the contact. However, Latu is probably giving as much back.
You would say that, though, wouldn't you? Oh, that pass from Bully just dribbling on out of court. So here's one turnover for the Northern Mystics.
This is the opportunity that the Mystics need to score off.
Oh, the ball bounces unkindly for Latu.
An unlucky bounce.
She certainly does most of her shooting far closer to the pole than that.
A big split from Prattley, taking her closer to the post.
So a turnover squandered by the Mystics. And really, Bernie, you have to wonder, don't you, the number of mistakes they've made today. You know, they don't really deserve to be in the playoffs.
No, I think the Swifts have brought their A game today, and the Mystics, too many turnovers, too many penalties to really come away with the win. There's been a lot of umpire whistle in this last 3/4 of the match.
And the Swifts march on.
So the Mystics defence, they're just caught with their heads down and they're running with their backs to the ball, which means they're too high.
But they've really had no answer this afternoon, have they, for Prattley and Cox?
They don't seem to have had much of a game plan on defence this game.
The sting in this game seems to have disappeared.
The crowd is a bit quieter too, but there's a little something to cheer about. Another turnover, giving another opportunity.
So all of the players on one side of the court, they need to start balancing up the court and doing some good preparation on attack to lose their defender.
Well, they've got just under 11 minutes to make up 11 goals, the Northern Mystics. There's one of them.
Again, players on the Mystics side quite stationary, needing to do more work, more preparation, and to keep going on it to lose your partner.
You can see the expression on Jolene Henry's face, but a very nice pick up there for the Swifts. Kimberly Smith robbing the Mystics of that ball.
Wilcox just getting a hand to that.
Wouldn't mind seeing Henry go a bit tighter on Prattley this stage of the game. They need to get ball.
And there's a pick up for Jenny May Coffin.
Coffin and Henry playing ball between each other.
Tiny rebound for Latu. She didn't have to leave the ground. So that's another warning, I think, for Maria Tutayer about breaking.
Good stretch from Jolene Henry on defence, and it pays off for her. The Mystics with the rebound.
She hoists it down court. Oh. So Mystics very lucky there.
with this crowd, they're not out of it. If they can just make a few inroads, the crowd will help them on their way. And they need to believe in themselves, this Mystics group.
And even that big pass in, you know, it was so chancy. I mean, it's worked for them. But, gee, they take a few risks.
So 2-on-1, 2 defenders on Latu in the circle.
Tutaia needs to do some driving through that circle, just moping around.
George just bumping Kimberly Smith off her. That's what Tutaia needs to do, and they need to do it relatively quickly, the Mystics. They've got the last 5 goals. Should give their supporters some heart.
So Cox right up the top of the goal third.
And Byfield lets her straight back in. She needs to keep her out.
Call going against George.
And then an easy feed for Weir and to Prattley.
It is easy, doesn't it? It looks too easy. So, yes. Kimberly Green dancing across the top of George.
No movement in that forward circle.
That's a better ball.
But everything dependent on Latu in the goal and the shooting circle.
Yep, she's been a rock for the Mystics. But they have to get some turnover ball, the Mystics.
One thing I've liked about Green, she's really tough on the contest, but she doesn't lose her cool. She just goes about her business.
So the margin starts at 8. The clock keeps ticking, though. Oh, lovely vision from Temepara George.
So only 7 goals in it. The Mystics can get back into this game. Byfield just coming out and not having a real go on the intercept, but going out of the play. So you need to pick and choose wisely on defence.
Miss from Catherine Cox gives a little bit of hope to this Mystics crowd.
That's sharper passing, but that was a wish and a prayer. Big diagonal pass into the corner. That is a defender's dream to gobble up, that angle of pass.
And the Swifts defenders just doing all they can here to slow down the passage of the ball for the Mystics.
And you can see the physical nature of the game is paying at this stage. The players starting to tire somewhat. It affects their preparation on attack.
And again, the Mystics forced back. Tremendous defence from the Swifts. So that's one turnover they've got. It's Mystics ball. But you can't help but think that time is against them.
Jenny, there's plenty of time. A couple of turnovers, a bit of nervousness.
That's a good take from Latu.
That's just much more definite in her passing that time, Maria Tutaia.
Let's not forget the Mystics do have 8 players here today. This crowd is going off now.
So the Mystics scored the last 3 goals. You can feel the crowd start to rise.
Oh, that's a big call from Faye Meiklejohn.
That was a good call.
So the Mystics rewarded for some good defence. Now, can they make the Swifts pay?
This is crucial turnover.
And this is where they generally blow it too, the Mystics. Let's see.
Don't jinx it, Catherine.
Oh, but somehow Jenny May Coffin's come up with that ball. Oh, and Latu just backing in. So now they have to put the foot down. They're going backwards at the moment, but here they come.
Jenny May Coffin, she seems to have gone up a gear.
This is the most crucial play for this team this season. They must score.
Look at the defence from the Swifts, so it's outstanding.
It was great defence from Kimberly Green. She just stayed with Temapara George.
Oh, Latu wants it.
Nice space from Latu.
Swifts have the next centre pass. There's now time called. No, in fact, it's play on.
And this is the most important defensive play for the Mystics. Someone's got to pick up the ball here.
Oh, terrific lean, Jolene
stretch from Henry.
And the ball goes in for Pratley.
It's almost the 3 seconds from Pratley.
It seemed like a very long 3 seconds to me. Now they build again. Oh, both of them go for it. Oh, and they're called for the short pass.
Bit of a tough call. I don't think Tutaia actually got her hands to the ball. That's the way the dice has fallen. Cox high out of the circle.
There she goes again, Temapara George. She just can't gather it, though. Really, George and Latu have been absolutely outstanding for the Mystics. But the side from New South Wales, they've got that margin to 5. And now, Jonathan Bredon.
Massive call. Tutaia off the court because she'd already been warned for continuous breaking.
So he had given her the final warning at the last time he talked to her, so now she's off the court.
Now, the interesting thing will be how long is she off for?
I think he indicated a number of goals. It may have been 2.
Well, he certainly played a big role in this game.
Well done, Byfield. She came out. She almost had 2 hands on a clean intercept.
Imagine if the game was a bit closer.
Exactly, exactly, Catherine, and you've just lost one of your shooters. My word.
Byfield again, she's not giving up.
So Tutaia, first player in the ANZ Championship this year to be sidelined. Wilcox was sidelined last year. Meantime, the Swifts move on. And you'd have to say, Bernice, they deserve this win. The Mystics have just made far too many mistakes.
The Mystics have had their opportunities to come back into the game in crucial times where they just haven't scored those goals that they needed to. But this lady, she should sing this one.
You can tell on her face she knows it's all too late. And of course, she's all on her own down there while all this is happening. Catherine Cox hits the deck. She knows the game is in the bag.
So will Pratley have the last shot at goal?
She does. And there is the whistle for full time, and it is the New South Wales Swifts who have beaten the Northern Mystics 54-48. But the Northern Mystics ending the game with only 6 players on the court. Maria Tutaia sent to the sideline for repeated breaking. What a game.
What a game. Up and down at times, some good matchups on the court, but plenty of turnovers for both sides and plenty of penalties. So I would imagine the Swifts, although they've come away with a good win, they'll be wanting to cut those out for their last 3 matches.
And Bernice, we've talked about it before. I mean, the Mystics will be kicking themselves. They down by 7, got right back up. I think they hit the lead once, and then you'd have to say they blew it.
They just did not, but they were not disciplined enough when they needed to be, and just keeping their composure at certain times. They had a couple of good leaders out there in Latu and George, but they needed the rest of the team to come to the party for the whole 60 minutes, not just to come in fits and bursts.
And that's the difference, isn't it? The Swifts team, it's almost hard to pull out a player who stood out. They all went out, did their job, and, you know, that consistent performance, they were able to deliver it. But let's go now sideline to where Catherine Harvey-Williams is joined by Swifts captain Catherine Cox.
Kath Cox, they really gave it to you this afternoon.
And that's exactly what we expected. As I said in the Herald this morning, they are a quality side. They've probably been unfortunate not to have more wins than they had, and we knew that if they played the way the Mystics could with their star power, then they'd have a really good game, so we expected it.
You got off to a good start and then you fell in a bit of a hole. What happened there?
That's what the Swifts do. It's something we're trying to get ourselves out of, but we haven't managed to put 4 good quarters together yet. A lot of the quarters, even we start with, you know, a decent 5 minutes and then fall away, so it's something we're still working on.
Pretty physical out there, Kath. How did that compare to other games you played this season?
Not overly. I mean, every game is getting that way. It's just the nature of the game. I think with such fit athletes and such strong athletes out on the court, it just ends up that way.
Well done. You must be pretty happy.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm glad it's over.
Thanks, Kath.
Oh, isn't that a great... I'm happy, I'm glad it's over. So, interesting comments there from Catherine Cox, still saying the Swifts looking for a consistent 4-quarter game. And my word, look out when that happens, because they look in pretty good shape, the New South Wales Swifts, keeping their unbeaten record intact. So let's go back now to Catherine Harvey-Williams, joined by Temepara George.
Temepara, you were well and truly in that game. You scored 17 goals in the second quarter and then dropped to 7 in the third. What happened?
I think they tightened their defence up in the attacking third, and I think we started to get a bit hesitant as we saw the defence coming really close to the attackers. So it was on our behalf, but the Swifts came out and changed their game, and yeah, they got on top of us.
How disappointed are you? Because that could virtually mean the end of your finals campaign.
Yeah, really disappointed. I think we had a good training week. We had a week off last week, which went well for us. Obviously, it didn't work tonight, but we need to win the rest of our games.
And how hard will it be to be motivated from here on in, considering the hype that surrounded your side before the season started?
I don't think it's hard at all. I think when we go out there to play really consistent netball and give it all. So the next 3 games, we're going to do that. It's not over yet until the end of the round. So we'll see what happens.
And I've got to ask about the physical nature of the game and the umpiring. How did you find it?
Oh, it's part of the game now, so you're just going to keep going until they call you, and some calls obviously go against you, some go your way, so it's just part of the game now.
Thanks, Temepara. Commiserations.
Thanks,
there is Temepara George, a disappointed captain of the Northern Mystics. They have gone down here at the Trust Stadium to the New South Wales Swifts, 54-48. Stick with us for all the analysis.
Welcome back to Trust Stadium, where the New South Wales Swifts have just defeated the home side, the Northern Mystics, in a very physical affair, 54-48. It was really tight from the beginning, very tight in the first quarter for about 12 minutes, and the Swifts ran away with it. And then in the third quarter, it was all the Swifts, which was basically the match-winning quarter. But let's look at the best players. Susan Prattley dominated from beginning to end. She was steady under the post, 3 points. Temepara George, outstanding for the Northern Mystics with 2. And Rebecca Bully was miserly in defence. So let's have a look at the leaderboard. Laura Langman sits at the top with 11 points. Temepara George closes the gap on 10. And there are a number of New Zealand players in that top part there with Megan Dean and Althea Byfield. But one of the stars of the game, Bernie, was Susan Prattley. Outstanding from beginning to end, wasn't she?
She was outstanding, and for quite a while in the game, she was sitting on 100% shooting. She put up as many shots as Cox did, and just outstanding in terms of her court work as well. She's so calm and cool with the ball, and I think she had the better of Jolene Henry definitely today.
And she combines so well with Kath Cox. Kath Cox had a relatively good shooting performance, and Prattley is often unheralded, but she certainly led from the front, didn't she?
They have a great understanding, and they roll the circle nicely, and just that communication is obviously free-flowing.
Well, the Mystics had to win today to make the finals series. They didn't. Where do you think they lost it?
I think, well, you could put it down to quarters as well. Their second quarter, they had a big burst there, but then the third, huge loss, and just ill-disciplined at times, and they didn't make the most of turnovers and just really finishing off.
And do you think the Swifts are coming into their own? They are undefeated at this stage of the season. A lot of people wondered how, but they seem to be getting better and better as the finals gets closer.
Yeah, it definitely felt like they grew in strength in this game as well, and particularly that third quarter was outstanding for them. It was like they accelerated and went into another gear altogether.
And the key players for the Swiss side, besides, I guess, Prattley, who we've picked out already?
Well, I think the defensive end as well. Bully and McCloma, they were tight in the shooting circle. They made it hard for Latu and for the feeders feeding into them.
And there are a lot of tough matches to come. The Firebirds and the Magic on Monday night. The Firebirds must get up in that one, mustn't they?
Well, absolutely. I mean, these last 3 and 4 rounds are really important for every team. They want to take as much out of them, but also to try and polish their game as much as possible so that, you know, that they're coming out on top.
And do you think the Magic can get over the Firebirds? Because the Magic are struggling for form as well.
Well, I think they have the ability to. I think a lot of it will come down to combinations as well that Nolene Taurua puts on the court and what they do on the defensive end.
So let's have a look at this leaderboard. The Swifts sitting comfortably and highly likely to finish in top position. And then there's still a lot of congestion around 4th position. The Southern Steel, the Vixens and the Mystics are going to miss their chance of playing finals this year. So let's wrap up, I guess, the Mystics campaign so far. There was so much hype around their season. And they've really disappointed a lot of people, haven't they?
Yeah, and they've had some good support, some good crowds, and I think they've had some great players in the likes of George and Latu that have been really solid in their performance for all of their games, very consistent. But some of the other players have just come and gone in terms of their consistency, and you just can't do that at this top level netball. You need to really just nail it down and for 60 minutes of the game.
It's almost like we're giving up on the Mystics, but their season is almost over. They've still got a slight chance of making the finals, but it's highly unlikely. And today they weren't good enough against the New South Wales Swifts. They really fell away in that third quarter. So the New South Wales Swifts, too good, dominating the Mystics 54-48. We'll see you later.
The Sky Netball team styled by Ketski.